in the midst of the fire. In the presence of the Lord, in the presence of the Lord of heat and cold, the flames lost their power to consume. Amen? Like whatever you will be called to go through for the sake of God, God is saying that I am the God of heat and cold. Whatever you are going through, even if you are going to be thrown into the furnace, the flame will lose its power to consume. Amen? That's the kind of God we serve. We should not be afraid that I will lose so much when I'm serving God. These men chose to get into the furnace, but God could not let his name be dishonored. He stood up for them. And this should be a lesson to us as young people. God is not calling us to do something that he will not give us the power to accomplish. And I love in verse 27 this verse. It says, and the princes and governors and the captains and the king's counselors being gathered together, so these men upon whose bodies the fire had no power. I don't know. I'm sure you may deal na moto, right? You can imagine hata moto tu kidogo, hata the heat itself, like even just hot water, you feel the pain, right? But the miracle here is that the fire had no power. That's the kind of God we serve. And now, the story ended up in God being glorified. And I want us to go to a verse in 1 Samuel chapter 2 about God standing with honor. We do not serve God in vain. In some second 1 Samuel, 1 Samuel chapter 2. Chapter 2, verse 30. Someone to read for us.
Therefore, the Lord, the God of Israel, declares, I promise that your house and the house of your father should go in and out before me forever. And now the Lord declares, far be it from me, for those who honor me I will honor, and those who despise me shall be lightly esteemed.
Thank you. The Bible says, those who honor me, I will honor. And that promise is sure. You will not stand for God, and God will honor you. It may look like for a season, but God has said in His word, and His promises are true, that if we honor God, God will honor us. I remember back then when we were in high school, as we didn't have I don't know if I've shared with you before, as we didn't have the privilege of worshiping, of coming in, on a day like this, we just sit here and see. So just know you are a blessed. So this time in high school, I was in a Catholic school, and during on Sabbath we used to have speech classes. So what we used to do, we used to ensure that when now people are going for entertainment, as we would choose to go for worship, because that's the only time we had. And I remember God was blessing us in many ways, like our group grew, had many people. Then we started having prayers every day. Remember, this was a Catholic school. We used to have prayers every day. And just true to the fact that when we choose to stand for God, you know, these men stood for God in Babylon, and everyone in Babylon knew of their God, right? So, in the same way as back in school, we used to say, oh, the in thing in school. Like even during masses, we sing Adventist songs. So, of course, in God's work, there are always obstacles. So, what the sisters, you know, it is a Catholic school. They had a problem with this Adventist group. And one day, I remember, I was the chair at that time. The principal came and called me and told me, who gave you permission to pray? That those were our words. I've never forgotten. So there I am confused. Am I supposed to ask for permission to pray? So that time they started teaching us. They told us no meeting to worship. It became an issue. Even the teachers who were supporting us, they were coming, and so the teachers ran away. So we were just there with us, by ourselves. And I remember after that time, we communicated to the group. Of course, we were sad, we were crying. But then that's about, we were like, now it's about you and God, right? If you choose to come, remember that consequences. But I praise God because there are people who showed up for prayer. Then you are ready for whatever consequences that came. But the power in the story is that one day the principal was calling, I don't know, I think she was not an Adventist but came, and the question was, are you an Adventist? She said, no. You know, Adventists are disciplined students. And actually, you know the way indexing exams are done, and then the first class and the second class. Almost 90% of Adventists were in the first class and the second class. And actually, the principal noted, right? And among the top students were Adventist students. And I can tell you, today, the Adventist group, I saw them once presenting in New Life SDA, and I know it has taken the power of God because the school has come a long way. This is just to tell you that God never forsakes his own. When we choose to honor God, the Bible says God will honor us. So let us not be tempted to dishonor God because of some temporary gain, right? He said, let me just cheat this one. If these people had pretended to close their shoes, of course, many people will assume they are worshiping the image. So they do not even want to be confused that I may be worshiping, and that should be the same with us. Let us not give people outside there an opportunity to dishonor God or give them a wrong example for them to follow, so that they say, come on, a Christian can do this, then it is okay to do. So let us stand for God wherever we are, and it pays to stand for God. And one thing I get encouraged with is that in the life of Daniel is how God, I would love us to go through the whole book of Daniel, but time will not allow. But remember in verse 1, they chose to stand for God, right? When people were eating of the king's table, they decided to magic in a burger, right? Vegetables and water. And the testimonies later was they were 10 times wiser. That is God's doing. Of course, there was no power in the water and the vegetables. You can still eat vegetables and water and still faith, right? The power was in their ability to stand for God. And God can make us 10 times wiser if only we choose to stand for Him. And then in chapter 3, we see what happens. And then in chapter 6, Daniel again is met. I wouldn't want us to go there, but we can go and study the life of Daniel. In Daniel chapter 6 again, Daniel was a faithful man. Again, we see this in chapter 6. And in chapter 6, they are looking for reasons to get this man in trouble. I don't know if I was to look at your life, or you are to look at your life. Are there things that you will find fault in about your life? Like if you are a student, can you say 100% you have been faithful? Daniel was so faithful that they could not find anything wrong against him apart from his devotion to God. So they decided now to pray for free, right? But Daniel, one thing maybe we can just there. In the book of Daniel chapter 6, we are told about the decree that these people had prayed. But in chapter 10, so that you can know just how faithful this man was. In Daniel chapter 10 it says, now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, the decree that banned them from worshiping God. It says now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went